Welcome everyone, today we have a new tier list guide for Honkai Star Rail. Now as you guys know, we're pretty much 1 week into the game and now we have some updated tier list. So in this video, we'll have a look at some of the latest tier lists from Prod&GG and also the reasons behind it. I have also crafted several tier lists I want to go through with you guys. So this tier list, I want to compare the 5 stars and also the replacement 4 stars. And this tier list will look into the 4 stars and also this tier list will look into the 5 stars. So quite a number of tier lists to go through, and of course, we want to look at the best free-to-play build. So this is why we want to also focus on the free characters that is available. Now during this video, we'll also touch up on some of the characters that can have a unique build that makes them really shine. And one of the example I will be giving to you guys will be Gepid, and he is quite strong when you build him correctly. So let's go through those tier lists together and let's see what we can learn. Now starting with the first tier list from Prod&GG, this was just updated a few days ago and this is pretty much a week after the launch of the game. So you can see the character that is arranged with Seilai, the limited banner character, as the top of the meta. And followed by that we have Clara, we have Bronya, Tinyu, which is the only supporting character on S+ tier. After that we have Bilu, Gepid and also the Fire Trailblazer. Now I can see the reasons for most of those characters, even for Tinyu, but I wasn't sure for Gepid. So after reading a little bit over here with the notes and everything, I can see the reasons behind Gepid as well. So what it was recommended by Prod&GG was that Gepid was supposed to be built with defense, speed, and its recharge. So notice that he shouldn't just go into defense percentage for all of his stats, and this actually make him shine a lot with casting most of his ultimate most of the time, and this provided shield for the entire party and allows most of the allies to survive for a long time. And what they were saying is that you actually don't need a healer if you do this correctly, and he is actually very powerful in the simulator world, because we can build an entire build around him. And as you guys come over to the simulator world, we have just passed with a previous video to the next stage of the game, and you can see Gepid can easily build into the Blessing of Preservation and deal a lot of damage using the shield. Now over here, we can also see some of the 4-star characters, 5-star characters being placed on the S tier and also A tier. Now what I don't really agree is that Himiko is really low on the tier. I think she deserves to be at least on S tier or even S+ tier. And she is one of the most powerful 5 stars to be carrying your whole team. You just need her to be farming the no energy route and she can give experience to all your characters. If you guys don't believe me, check out my previous video, which Himiko was carrying level 20 characters and killing the entire wave. Now one of the highlights for this tier list, of course we have mentioned before, is a Clara. Clara is a very undervalued character at the start, but then eventually people realize that she deals tremendous AoE damage with countering. And over here you can also see March 7th to be really high on the tier list. This is also one of the reasons that she can go into the Blessing build for the preservation, and this makes her really powerful for a lot of content. And this is what the flexibility of the characters allows us to do. So here, let's come over to my tier list, and over here, I have tried to make it so you can see the replacement characters. You can see the ideal top meta 5 stars and the 4-star characters that they can replace with elemental damage and also utility. So you can see that I also broken down the character into the category of DPS, support, healer, and also shield. So this way you can kind of have an understanding of what characters you need. Usually you want 2 DPS character, you want 1 or 2 support, and then you can combine how you want to go. So the top of the meta for me is also Seilai, and this can also be, can be the upgrade for Chinchu over here. As for the physical damage, it will be Clara, and of course the 4-star mini version of Clara, which deals physical damage on a single target, will be Xuxian over here. And over here you can see a lot of those characters will rank pretty highly by me. And I'm actually putting Himiko as one of the top 3 DPS for me, because her AoE damage is really nice, and if you do build her correctly, especially against the World 6 for the simulator world, she is really good against the boss. Well, surprisingly enough, the boss herself is weakened to fire, and also to lightning, and also to quantum. So having someone like Himiko, having someone like Seilai, or having someone that is also lightning, which will be coming very soon with Jingyuan, will be very good for the World 6. Now how you want to use this tier list is that you look on the top of the characters, so you can see if I have Himiko, I don't need to use Hook unless I want both of the fire characters. And similarly, if I have Yanqing over here, I don't need to use Hatter. So the tier list is made in such a way you can see the upgrade of 5-star, and then you can see the weaker version of the 4-star. But sometimes you can use both of them. For example, you can use Welt for the slow, you can use Aster for the speed up, or you can use Bronya, and also you can use Tinyu over here. But in other times, you probably don't want two healers on the team. You don't want Natasha and also Bilu on the same team because you have too many healers. Now we can also see that there are other 4-star characters that currently cannot be replaced. Simply there are no enough 5-star characters that deals wind damage. So you can see that Genhin over here, he is top of the meta, and you can see on the tier list, one of the reasons he's top of the meta is that because he's the only one that deals wind damage other than Bronya. And most of the time, Bronya won't be here to deal damage. She'll be here casting her spells and buffing the team. Now over here, let's come over to some of the more individual tier lists for the 5-star characters and also for the 4-star characters. And also for the most free characters, right? So I have put the Trailblazer as the 4-star or 5-star characters on this category simply because he's free or she's free to us. Now for my 4-star category, I always put Natasha on the top of the tier list because if you don't have a healer, Natasha is the only healer you have. And of course, she's going to be very highly valued. And similar case, you'll want to go with a Fire Trailblazer. So here, notice the tier list for Natasha is a little lower because they have Bilu. But if you don't have Bilu, Natasha is the best bet for you as a healer. And the Fire Trailblazer is very highly ranked. Tinyu is always powerful because she can enable any of the build, and she is like a universal support. Now on the second category of the A tier, you can see the single target DPS damage. And this hook, there's going to be Xushen. Now Serval is really good because currently we do not have the release of Jingyuan. Once Jingyuan comes out, he will be a better upgrade of Serval. And you can see that I have March 7th, I have Denhen and also Asta ranked a little higher. Now one of the characters I do want to mention is going to be Heta. So if you come over to the game, what you're going to see is my Heta actually have 4 of the Eidolons. You might be wondering how. It's because once you clear, Simulator World 6, you'll have 4 copies of Heta for free. And this makes her quite interesting. Because if you don't have Yanqing over here, and if you want ice damage dealer that can break enemies, Heta can be nice simply because you get a lot of her duplicates. And she can have potential to go higher. Now, one of the reasons I'm not investing in her is I don't see the need for now. Maybe for my second team, but I have to decide which of the banners on the summon are right. We'll make that video very soon. Now, this is also the similar case for Pala, for Chinkyu, and also for Sempo. If you do have them with higher copies, of course they will go higher. But currently, there's just too many replacements, and for Sempo, even the replacement with Danhin is better than him. And as for Pala, there's just too many good support. And as for Chinkyu, most of the players have been rolling for Shilai. And this is one of the reasons that, Chinkyu is not seeing a lot of play. But I know some players are really enjoying her, and I do like the Chinese, the Mahjong animations, they look really nice. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of free Jade guides, new events, official updates, and also free-to-play tips and also tricks to Hong Kong Star Rail. And make sure you turn on the notification, guys, because some of the events and also some of the updates may be time limited and with a limited number of giveaways. Like in this particular guide, only 2,000 players can get the lucky giveaway for 3,000 Jades. So make sure you subscribe and also turn the notification on. And if you look over here, a lot of you haven't turned it on. We have over 80% people who haven't turned it on. So make sure you turn it on for the latest news and also all the freebies with Hong Kong Star Rail. So briefly going over to my tier list for 5-star characters, notice they all went up the tier list. So previously I was ranking Genpei really low, and after seeing what is available and after seeing what is possible with Simulator World, I have ranked him much highly, and he can be on a team without a healer. What you can see Genpei does is he can be like the budget Zhongli. Zhongli was very powerful back then in Genshin Impact, and Genpei can be this style if you build him correctly with speed, defense, and also energy regen. Now, I think the bigger difference with my tier list and also the Proton GG tier list is that I have decided to rank Himiko much higher. I do see potential in her. Even at the start of the game, I can see there's more potential in her. And she also have abilities that burns enemies. And this can be very powerful if we go with a damage over time team. But just right now, we're not seeing a lot of that because we don't have enough limited 5-stars. Now, Bronya World is always good, Bulu is good, and also Yanjun. So none of those characters are weaker, and any of your 5-stars can be very powerful. So this is why let's come over to the team builder, and let's have a look at some of the potential teams for your 5-stars. Now, same as before, we go with each of the 5-star starter as the starting part, but we'll use the reference for Simulator World 6. So here we're building a team with your 5-star starters, assuming you only have one 5-star. If you do have more 5-star, use the upgrade system over here to see what your 4-stars will upgrade into 5-stars. And here we'll be building a team for the Simulator World 6. So let's start with Bilu over here. So if you have Bilu and then you don't have anyone else, let's say if you happen to have Hook, if you summon on the Sealight banner, you didn't get Sealight, you have Hook. If you do have Sealight, of course you chuck her in, right? So I'm just saying, if you don't have any 5 stars, this is what you can do with Bilu to clear World 6. So you can go with Hook over here, and Asta is actually not bad into breaking enemies. She is also fire and gives us quite a bit of speed. Now finally, I recommend going with the Fire Trailblazer, and this is a decent team with speed, with breakage, and also with survivability. You may be a little short on damage, and for this case, if you don't use Asta, you can use a free character Seville. She can also break enemies. Now as for the team for Bronya, oh boy, so if you have Bronya, I'll still recommend going with Hook, and if you don't have Hook, go with Seville. And after that, if you want to do some more damage, going with Shinkyu is not bad, and against the boss, quantum damage is really good. Now finally, we always go with the Fire Trailblazer because, it's just so wonderful. Now one of the things I want to show you guys with the Fire Trailblazer is that you can very quickly get the Eidolons to 4. And once you get Eidolons to 4, you unlock a lot of benefits, starting with 4 stacks, and over here you get additional shield and also defense. And over here you also get additional defense and also effects to AoE damage. So this is why when I start any of the build for the 5-star characters, we always use the Fire Trailblazer. He or she is just too strong. Now coming over to the build for Clara. So Clara is very straightforward. Now usually with Clara, I want to go with March 7th just because she can make Clara taunt. When March 7th casts a shield onto Clara, she will also be taunting enemies. So here we definitely want a healer, so we go with Natasha, and after that maybe I can go with the Trailblazer if I want a bit of durability, but against the boss ideally you want someone can break the boss. What I heard from some of my viewers is Asta is really good. Asta not only break the boss, also give you a really good speed up. Now if you're also looking for AoE damage, which I don't think you'll need, you can go with Seville. But ideally, if you have Hook over here, she will be a really good single target against the boss. Now, on the topic of a great shielding character, if you have the Fire Trailblazer, if you have Gambit, if you have March 7th, and then go Natasha, this can be a very fun build, and this will be especially powerful if you go with Preservation of the pathway for the Simulator world. Of course, you don't need to go all in, right? You can have one of the characters that deals more damage, like Seville, maybe with Hook, and maybe with Chinkyu. Those can be very powerful. Now as for Team Himiko, I have seen a build with Himiko and Hook and also Asta, Team Fire build, and then you go with Natasha. This build is quite straightforward. You'll be breaking the enemies, dealing lots of AoE damage, single target, and also speed. Now of course you can make the adjustment to take away Asta to come with Fire Trailblazer, take away Hook if you do not have her, and go with someone like Seville, or you can go with someone like Chinkyu, that can also work. Now as we keep going with Welt. Well, Welt, I do have Welt, he is very powerful. So one of the things you can do with Welt is you can make a speed team with Asta and also Welt. Now against most of the enemies, you can have Hook, you can have Natasha, and this will make a nice team. Similarly, you can replace Hook with Seville, or you can replace Seville with Chinkyu. Depends on what you need. And Hook currently is the only imaginary character that deals, the imaginary damage. So this really makes him nice and also flexible for certain team comps. And finally, for Yanqing, yes, for Yanqing you want the shield, so you always go with the Fire Trailblazer, and you can always go with March 7th, and you can go with Natasha. Now if you find yourself a little short in damage, and then you can replace one of your characters, I recommend taking out March 7th, and then going with a bit of AoE damage for Seville if you need to, or what you can use, you can go with more single target damage with Hook. Similarly, you can also go with Chinkyu, and those can be some of the team comps you can try for World 6 for the Simulator world. And let me know how you go with that, because we have just posted a video. You can use some of the cheating ways to get past it really quickly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this newly updated tier list, and let me know your comps and also your favorite build with different characters. And let us know in the comments, guys, if you have any special teams for the Simulator world and also for the Hell of the Memories or the Forgotten Hell. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.